Hi, welcome to this part of my review featuring the Violet Sky tabletop RPG. If you haven't seen the other parts of my review featuring this Post-Apocaweird RPG, please check out the playlist in the description below. This time we are going to talk about the flow of play. While playing, the autonomous or the player characters will explore various places and talk to many non-player characters, played by the game master of course. Whenever a situation appears where there is no certainty, a check is required. Players are encouraged to use their tokens to increase their chances during checks. Especially invention tokens are important. If you help your fellow autonomous in a task, your invention token turns into a sweet, juicy desperation token, which allows you to boost your own rolls and use much stronger versions of the tricks you have. In this game, whenever a player succeeds in a check, they should describe what happens and what they managed to achieve. If the player rolled a lucky hit, exactly the result equal to their current attribute level, they can add extra details to the description to make the action more interesting, energetic, and cooler. If the check was unsuccessful, the action failed and the character can't attempt it again, at least not until the situation changes in some way. The game rules are modified a bit whenever danger appears and combat starts. During combat, the time slows down and everything the characters do is now divided into actions and turns. In this section you have an example of play, but it is quite awful. Always out of character, having a conversation between the game master and the player characters, or rather the player. Please check out the RPG Essentials playlist that I'm going to put in the description of this video. Moving on, let's talk about combat. Sometimes diplomacy doesn't work and bloodshed is necessary. Combat in Violet Sky follows some special rules. Let's talk about initiative, turns, and rounds. Initiative determines the order of turns during combat. When combat starts, every participant rolls a 6-sided die, adds their speed or logic, you pick the highest one, and their power level to determine their place in the initiative order. The game master may roll for an entire group of identical enemies, so each member of the group acts at the same time. The game master ranks the combatants in order from the one with the highest result total to the one with the lowest. If a tie occurs, the game master decides the order among the tied game master controlled creatures, and the players decide the order among their tied characters. I also think that it's important to consider the context. Each creature in combat has their own turn, and after all turns, a new round starts. One round in the game world represents about 6 seconds. Combat in Violet Sky takes place on a grid. Each square on the grid is about 2 meters of distance in the game world. Some squares on the grid may have obstacles or difficult terrain. Normally, each character occupies a single square on the grid, but there could be huge creatures or constructs, vehicles, and whatnot that could take more spaces. Now, although this game uses a grid, it is possible to play this using the mind's eye as always. Let's talk about actions in a turn. During their turn, characters may perform a long action and a quick action, or 2 quick actions, that's their choice. An unlimited amount of turbo actions may also be performed. A long action is a series of small actions or a complicated act. Fighting in melee, aiming and firing your gun, trying to open a lock, or putting a command into a machine are examples of long actions. Quick actions are quick and easy. They are singular activities you do, like running somewhere, jumping through a gap, or just pressing a switch with your finger. Turbo actions are very special. They are incredible actions that may be performed at any time, even during another character's turn. Some tricks in this book are described as turbo actions, and their description will detail when they activate. So understanding all of this means that you can take long actions such as casting a spell, dodging, charging, wrestling, attacking. When it comes to quick actions, you can move, defend, aim, change position, hide, etc. Everything is covered, and everything can be adjudicated following these rules. And there are many other nuances, for example using 2 weapons, 1 weapon in each hand. Each attack gets a -1 to hit and damage, but you of course perform 2 attacks. When it comes to vehicles in combat, they act similar as normal characters. That means they can be targeted, damaged, destroyed, and so forth. Automated vehicles, of course, also exist, giant robots or even cars steered by an AI. These types of vehicles have their own turns, just like normal characters. You also have details on special terrain such as cover, difficult terrain, obstacles, conditions in combat such as getting knocked down, poisoned, blinded, deafened. You all have penalties and bonuses when it comes to these situations accordingly. You also have details on damaging objects. What is big and fragile or hard and heavy? How much damage can those objects take? You also have details on how you can take damage from accidents, from small accidents to something deadly, like a car crash. You also have details on reputation, how you can use it to influence non-player characters in the game world, and how this reputation can go up or down depending on what happens during the campaign. You also have details, of course, on power level and character advancement. This represents how powerful and influential characters are in the world of Violet Sky. Level ups or increases are usually handled via milestones. Perhaps the party defeated a terrifying tyrant they have been hunting down. Or maybe the party saved the ruler of a settlement after a long journey. So when you increase your power level, you could improve 2 attributes of your choice by 1. An attribute cannot be increased by 16. After increasing your level, your character could improve 2 attributes of your choice by 1. An attribute cannot be increased above 16. You could also learn a new trick. You also have details on interacting with computers. This is fast and simple, so you won't have to wait for that character that specializes in interacting with machinery and systems to take quite a while. You can easily take control of a system, cover your tracks, find information, as a simple action. This also applies to gathering food and water. And this concludes this part of the review. In the next part we are going to talk about equipment. The pacing of this game is generally fast, and even though it has been designed for grid play, you can easily play this with the mind's eye. All of the actions are covered. The task and skill resolution happens quickly, and quite easy to understand after a few actions. Thank you for watching this part of the review, and thank you for your likes and your comments. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. And thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. If you want to hire my services as a paid game master, please check out the post in the description. And remember, it is better to roleplay and fail in character than not to roleplay and fail as a player. Once again, thank you, and see you later.